Section 10.1.15. For students who first enrolled in two-year public institutions in a recent semester, the proportion who earned a bachelor's degree within 6 years was 0.379. The president of a certain college believes that the proportion of students who enroll in our institution have a lower completion rate. For Part A, it says, determine the null and the alternative hypothesis. Okay, now, the parameter that's being tested is the proportion of students who earned a bachelor's degree within 6 years. So the proportion is the parameter that's being tested. Okay, and remember that the null hypothesis is a statement that's to be tested. So we know the null hypothesis always has the equality. So since the parameter is a proportion, we know that we're using the variable p. Okay, and so that means it's going to equal the proportion of the value that we're dealing with, which is 0.379. Now, the alternative hypothesis is a statement to also be tested. It is a statement of inequality. We are trying to find evidence for the alternative hypothesis. So it's saying here that the president of a certain college believes the proportion of students who enroll in our institution have a lower completion rate. So that tells us that the inequality is going to be less than. So it's going to be P is going to be less than 0.379. So therefore, this represents the null and the alternative hypothesis. Okay, now in Part B, it says, explain what it would mean to make a type 1 error. Well, a type 1 error would occur if the sample evidence that leads the president to conclude the proportion of students who earn a bachelor's degree within 6 years is less than 0.379, when in fact the proportion is 0.379. In Part C, it says, explain what it would mean to make a type 2 error. A type 2 error would occur if the sample evidence that leads the president to conclude the proportion of students who earn a bachelor's degree within 6 years is equal to 0.379, when in fact the proportion is less than 0.379.